Hi, welcome to the Gear Garage. My name is Zach, and this is my funny little internet show about whitewater things. And in today's episode, I want to talk about tying your spare oar on an oar boat. It's something that we all need to do. There's a few different techniques and schools of thought, and I just want to share with you some of the things that I've personally done, and would love to hear in the comments if anybody else has done something different or has different ideas. And first of all, this is my new raft. It's a wing, and it's black. And yes, for those of you that have left comments, I do understand the black boats heat up really well. I just think it looks super cool, so I went with black. And this is a Mad cataraft frame. This is the frame I use when I cataraft. Dave Nissen makes an amazing frame. It's really well thought out, and it's my choice of a frame. And it is a cataraft frame in a raft, which may not make sense to a lot of you, but it works. And I've done it before, so I'm using it today for this demonstration. And so for tying your oar in a boat, I just want to share what I learned historically. It's kind of old school maybe, but what I was taught was just to hang your spare oar off of a couple of loops of hoopy or webbing or whatever, cord or whatever, but just hang it down like that. And there's certainly some advantages and disadvantages to this. The advantage is it's simple. Every time you go, you just put the oar in, and when you need to get it off, you just kind of push it forward out of this loop and then pull it back, which can sometimes, depending on how tight it is, be a little bit of a pain. And then once it's out though, it's ready to go right in the oar lock. And so, that it's a nice simple technique. There's not a lot to it. The disadvantages are your oar is just kind of hanging off. So it can, in some circumstances, fall off, right? Which is a disadvantage. That's not good. It rarely does, but it can. But you've also created these loops, which are potential hand or leg entrapments. So this doesn't exactly follow the clean line principle. So although I did this for a long time historically, I'm not trying to get away from it. And what I do now is just take a couple of 1-foot cam straps and just cam it to the side of the boat. It's pretty simple what I'm doing here. And these straps are black. I try to find the orange straps so they're super visible so it can seem easy. I just basically put the strap where that same blue thing would be, and I just put the cam around the oar, and right there, and then the back, same thing. Put it back here. Cam strap it on. And I try to think about having my cam straps like short, so a foot one's longer. This one can even be a tiny bit shorter to fit the oar, get them on there tight, and put the buckle somewhere easy to access. So if the cam is short and the buckle's easy to access, if you lose an oar and need to get to your spare, you can just undo that cam really easily, undo that cam, and throw your spare oar on. This is my current favorite technique. I love that it's so simple. It's just 2 1-foot cam straps. It comes off pretty easy. There's not a lot to this. It's pretty straightforward, and I like simple methods, so I've kind of been doing this quite a bit. One disadvantage to this is that this cam strap is now loose, and you could lose it, which is littering, and you shouldn't litter. So those of you that have experience with some of these things, you can maybe take your cam strap and wrap it around once, or put it through the little, I don't know, this thingy here, wrap it around again. You could do some different things. You could do a girth hitch with a longer cam strap. There's some things you could do to permanently attach the cam straps to the frame, which is a good idea, and I recommend it. It's just more steps, and it's not simple. It takes an extra few minutes every time you go boating, but I think it's a smart thing to do. So I'd highly recommend doing that method with something with a cam strap is attached to the frame. There's also some manufacturers that have fun little doodads you can buy that are oar attachment holders, and I don't know, I think those things are kind of gimmicky. It's up to you. You can do that if you want. It's sort of like the little flip lines on the outside of the boats. It's just stuff that gear manufacturers are selling you that you don't really need. You can just use a cam strap like this, a 1-foot cam strap, which is easy and simple and pretty straightforward. One other technique I really like, and I like this technique especially when I'm boating hard rivers, where I'm pretty likely to lose an oar, something maybe super technical, where oars are breaking or popping or just really difficult, and I need very quick access to an oar. I'll tie my oar to the inside of the boat. And this works really well for catarafting especially. And in a raft, you know, if you have people up front that need to sit there or you have gear, it's hard to do. But when it's just you and in the cat boat, I do this little, I don't know what this knot's called, but it's not even a knot, it's like a lashing. I kind of lash it on like this, right next to me, and I do one a little bit further back. Let's see, go around there, up, down, through there, and you know, these straps are a little bit long. I'd rather cut off, like, these are 4-foot straps, probably like a 2.5-foot strap's the way to go. But this method's pretty cool for technical rivers. For one, there's no oar on the outside banging on rocks. You could potentially break an oar that's on the outside, or get the front of it caught on something. So it's inside. It's really easy to undo. You just like pop these 2 cam straps, pop this one, and if the cam strap is shorter, it comes off easier, and your oar is ready to go. It goes right in that spot. So it's like easy access, and it's pretty easy to get to. The downside of this method is that there's potential, you're creating potential entrapment spots, right? So you're adding a little bit of danger. There's things that your arms get caught under, your leg gets caught under, you could smack into it. So it's creating some sort of dangers and like some weird things inside your boat. So that's a judgment call you need to make. But if you're in a difficult river where you just need quick access to an oar or having been outside, it can hit a lot of rocks, this might be a technique you want to do. So yeah, those are the main methods I use. The last thing to discuss is whether to put the blade forward or the handle forward. I think there's some different schools of thought here. If you hit a rock with a handle, it's less expensive to replace the handle than is the blade, depending on which oars you have. This is a Sawyer MXG, so the blade is like almost $200. The dynamite blade is $200. The handle is like $20. And so if you're gonna hit a rock, I'd probably rather hit the rock. I like to put the blade forward though, because for one, I just think it looks cool to have the blade forward. And two, when you pull your spare oar off, it's ready to go right in the rock. And so that's just a personal choice. But some of you might want to put handle forward, just maybe to save money if you hit a rock or some other reason you have out there. So that's some basics on how to attach your oar, your spare oar to an oar boat. You should be carrying a spare oar with you when you're rowing. You could break an oar, you could lose an oar. It's just good to have a spare with you. So that's how you detach it. If you out there, experienced boaters, have better ways to do it, I would love to hear what you have to say, because it helps me learn. And also, if you're new to boating, have questions about things, please ask me a question. I'd love to answer them or just have a discussion online. So thanks again for joining me and being a part of this episode, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.